Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Respected Sri Ranjit Kumar ji, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, Swami Purna Chaitanya ji, International Faculty and the Director of Programs, Art of Living, Bangalore, eminent yoga masters, yoga professionals, yoga enthusiasts, joining this webinar series through various social media platforms. My pranams to you all and hearty welcome to you all. International Day of Yoga is one of the very important day for all the yoga fraternity and yoga practitioners. The first International Day of Yoga celebrated on 21st June 2015. Ever since, Ministry of Ayush making lot of efforts through various activities to promote and develop yoga and reach out to the youth and corners of not only India but across the globe. So this year, under the pandemic condition, it is decided to promote be with yoga, be at home. Therefore, we are using all social media platforms by collaborating with various eminent yoga institutions. Today, we are starting this series, and this is going to be a everyday event from 5 to 6, where eminent yoga masters, scholars are giving you a very wonderful insight about yoga and yoga practices. And there will be a practical session also to be followed. This is 1 hour of program is going to be given by one institution every day. Monday it is experts from Art of Living. Tuesday the Yoga Institute Santa Cruz. Wednesday the Kaivalyadham Lonaval. Thursday Arihom Dhyana Foundation Madhya Pradesh. Friday Krishnamachari Yoga Mandiram Chennai. And Saturday we are coming up with Be with Yoga Masters series, where we are inviting eminent yoga masters and their experience. This webinar series starting from today is going to be a very, very important, and it will give us very wonderful insights from the very learned and experienced scholars and yoga masters that will help us to understand yoga much better and make it part of our life so that we can live happy and healthy. Today we are starting with the first program, where an eminent yoga masters from Art of Living. On this occasion, I take this opportunity to thank my Honorable Minister, respected Sri Kiran Rijiju, my Secretary, respected Sri Vaidya Rajesh Kotechaji, and our guiding force Sri Ranjit Kumar ji from the Ministry, Sri Vikram ji, and also all the eminent yoga masters, Puja Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar ji, Ma Hamsa ji, and respected Sri O.P. Tiwari ji, and Swami Muni ji from Arihom Meditation Center, and Sri Sridharan ji from Krishnamachari Yoga Mandiram. All of them are guiding us. Is going to be one of the major event which will promote mainly the Common Yoga protocol, where the sessions are coming from morning 7 to 8:30 in English, evening 6 to 7:30 in Hindi. Anybody can join these programs and practice yoga with the insightful lecture series starting from today. Participate and get the certificate of appreciation and yoga volunteer certificate. All these activities definitely help us to promote yoga. And on 21st of June, crores and crores of people we are joining together to practice the common yoga protocol on various platforms. Once again, welcome you all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Swamiji Purna Chaitanya from Art of Living, Bangalore. Dr. Basava Reddy, Director of Morarji Desai National Institute for Yoga, New Delhi. All esteemed guests who have joined this important webinar today. Namaskar. The series of 5 webinars being flagged off today, they come with a message, with a central message: be with yoga, be at home. This is an important webinar series in the context of the difficult times that we are living in. Life has been a prolonged constraint, everyday life that is, for the common man. Lockdown after lockdown, various restrictions, working from home, students, senior citizens, all sections of the population finding it difficult to come to terms with the new reality. In such a difficult time, with the constrictions imposed by the pandemic, a natural friend for all of us to fall back upon is the practice of yoga. Those who have been followers of yoga, no doubt, have managed this situation better than others. As people involved in different aspects of yoga, whether it is yoga training or yoga promotion or administration from a health perspective, those who have come together to organize this series of webinars, they are stakeholders of the yoga sector, if we can call them so. These stakeholders also have a responsibility in these difficult times to place before the public the solutions offered by yoga that will help them to wade through the difficulties of the lockdown, the restrictions of the pandemic. That is precisely what this series aims to do. And the ministry has been taking various efforts in this matter, and we were lucky that 5 reputed yoga institutions came forward to give shape to this series of webinars. Webinars have become the order of the day in exchanging ideas and forming common opinions. There's no escape from webinars and remote meetings in these times. This platform, this technology solution has been utilized by these 5 institutions to place before the common man, to place before the public some yoga-based solutions, some thoughts about them, which will be of immense use to tide over the typical stress and anxiety related difficulties which we are facing these days. These institutions, all of them renowned in their own ways, they are the Art of Living, Bangalore, the Yoga Institute, Mumbai, Kaivalya Dhama, Lonavala, Arham Dhyan Yoga, Madhya Pradesh, and Krishnamachari Yoga Mandiram, Chennai. In addition to these 5 institutions, I also have to mention the role of Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga in putting together this series in a way that will be easily accessible and easily absorbable by the public. It's also in order and appropriate that today we have Swamiji Purna Chaitanya, who is the International Faculty and Director of Programs at the Art of Living, Bangalore. It's appropriate that Swamiji has joined us today with a lecture on the topic Finding Inner Strength Amidst Outer Crisis. Now, the entire purpose of this series can be summarized in this topic. It is embedded in this topic, the search for inner strength when we are confronted by outer crisis. I'm sure this lecture will be worth the time in terms of guidance and advice to each one of the listeners. So thank you so much to each of these institutions who have joined us, and wish all the best to the guests, participants and listeners who have joined us. Do take care, do stay safe. Thanks once again.
Namaste. So first of all, I would like to congratulate and thank the Ministry of Ayush and of course the Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga for spreading the awareness of yoga and highlighting its benefits, especially during these challenging times. In the next few weeks, we from the Art of Living will take you all on a journey that will take us towards hope and health. And today's topic that we will be discussing, and we will also experience some yogic techniques, is finding inner strength amidst outer crisis. As we see now, the world is going through a very challenging time, and in India we have seen some of the most difficult weeks and months now, most recently, where many people have been directly affected by the pandemic. Many have indirectly also been affected. And of course, this whole last year was extremely challenging in so many ways. And in many ways, it has made people aware, it has made people realize that we need some tools to be able to deal with a challenge like this, a crisis like this, even mentally and emotionally. I know so many people who may have a comfortable house, they're very well to do. They're also really stressed, they're really anxious, they have difficulty sleeping at night. They have fear, they have anxiety. And we have never really, most of us at least, learned how to deal with that effectively. Because in our day-to-day life, in our school education, till now, this has never really been a part of it. And this is where yoga can really make a tremendous difference in all of our lives. And it has so many benefits, so many beautiful techniques that can allow us to cope better with challenging situations that we are facing right now or that we may be facing in the future. So that not just physically, but even mentally and emotionally, we can remain strong, we can remain healthy, and we can remain happy and enthusiastic. Now, first, I would just like to touch upon the fact that yoga is so much more than just the physical exercises. Yoga is a complete science that unites our body, mind, and spirit. And it connects our limited, our small individuality with the nature around us, with the universal consciousness. Now, especially in times like these, we see how yoga can bring that much needed and longed for peace and enthusiasm that all of us are striving towards. Because yoga can bring a shift in our thought patterns, in our attitude towards life, towards situations, how we look at things, how we deal with things. So I would say that in today's world, practicing yoga, meditation is not a luxury, it is a necessity. If you want to remain sane, if you want to remain healthy and happy and successful, this is a must. And of course, we see that all over the world, people have taken to yoga more and more. Of course, the wonderful initiative by our current Honorable Prime Minister and the whole Indian government to celebrate the International Day of Yoga across the world has only added to the momentum, where people have started taking up yoga and meditation across nations, across cultures, and have started experiencing the manifold benefits that this ancient science of well-being and spiritual elevation has to bring. In the West, we saw that initially, of course, and still many people think of yoga as the asanas, the practice of the physical exercises. But then more and more it started getting accepted and people started practicing it. Even though initially their main purpose may have been to lose weight or to do some physical exercise, people started finding that they gained so much more from yoga. It was not just physical exercise. They started getting relief from their stress, from their anxiety, their burnout, insomnia, many other health problems. And this is where the true power and the true, I would say, benefits or importance of yoga shines through. Because if we look at the main scripture on yoga, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the Yoga Sutras written by Maharishi Patanjali, in the 195 sutras that are given to explain yoga, to define yoga, there are only 3 sutras that talk about asanas, about the physical stretches, if we can put it like that. So definitely this is a part of yoga and it is important, but it is just such a small part. Yoga has so much more to offer. And if we look at the definition that the great sage Patanjali gave of yoga, he says yogas chitta vritti nirodha. He defines yoga as that science or that skill or that ability or state where we are not affected by the chitta vritti or the modulations of the mind, the different thought patterns, where we are able to transcend them, and he says tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. That is when you are established in your true nature. And what is our true nature? That state where you are a witness to this whole creation, where you are established in that inner peace, that part of you which is eternal, which is untouched, which is ever pure, which is ever joyful, which is unaffected by this whole changing world. Where we realize and we can experience, not just as a concept, that we are not just the body and we are not just the mind. We are not just our thoughts or emotions. And then he goes on to give us various tools and techniques and understanding how to manage this mind, how to manage these emotions, how to remain centered and stable amidst any kind of challenges or diversity, different types of people, how to remain unshaken amidst adversity. And somewhere we all have this ability, because if we look at when you were a child, a small child has so many qualities of a yogi, if you see. It is so joyful, whatever it does it 100%. It's not worried about the outcome. It's a proper karma yogi. A small child, if you see, can sleep anywhere. They can sleep in any position. They may be hanging over the arm of the mother, or lying on the seat of a bus, or wherever they may be. They can sleep very peacefully. And when a child goes to sleep, it closes its eyes, it falls asleep, and it has such a deep sleep. And when it wakes up in the morning, it is so fresh, so enthusiastic, so joyful. It's a new day, let's play. And somewhere along the way, we have lost this skill. Because if you see, many nowadays have a lot of difficulty falling asleep at night. And when we finally fall asleep, the quality is not so great. You wake up in the morning and you don't feel fresh, you don't feel so rested. Mind is still very foggy. And especially now when we see that there is so much of anxiety, so much of fear, so much of stress, it is all the more difficult. And it doesn't just affect your sleep, it affects your activities throughout the day. Whether it's the work we do or the interactions with our near and dear ones, it affects our whole functioning. So it is pertinent, it is so important that we learn how to manage our mind, that we learn how to come back to that state of yoga. And yoga gives us so many tools, so many techniques to do this. In the Yoga Sutras, in the scriptures of yoga, Maharishi Patanjali gives a beautiful clue. He gives one line. He says, yoga can prevent the suffering, the misery, even before it arises. Heyam dukkham anagatam. So the sorrow that has not yet come to us can be prevented. So in one way you can say that he suggested yoga as a vaccine for sorrow, at least some of the sorrow that hasn't come yet. This is preventive. That means we need not go through the suffering. If you can avoid it, it is better. We know prevention is better than cure. So even though yoga gives us the tools, techniques to come out of a state of depression or sadness or anxiety, it also gives us the knowledge and the techniques to prevent ourselves from getting into that state. The majority of our suffering, of the pain that we go through, the agony that we go through, or the anxiety, whatever, the majority is from the level of the mind. Less than 10% is because of external factors. And this is true if you look at it. The suffering that we go through during the day, it is very minor when it comes to getting bitten by something or hitting your leg, your foot. Most of the suffering, the sorrow that we go through is on the level of the mind. Is because of stress, because anxiety, fear, anger. All of these. And of course, nowadays, if we look at our medical science, they have established that a lot of the health problems people are facing nowadays are what they call psychosomatic, which means the root cause is in the mind, because people are so stressed, they are so anxious, it affects your physiology, it affects the way the body functions, it affects your health, your well-being. And this has only become more during this pandemic. People have been under tremendous stress. They have faced so much of anxiety, insecurity, and that affects our health, our well-being, and our functioning. So if most of our suffering, most of our problems are from the level of the mind, that means that yoga really can come to the rescue here. It is that science that allows us to address it effectively. The knowledge of yoga, the science of yoga, can make you comfortable in any situation, wherever you may be. Sometimes everything may be okay, sometimes things don't work out the way you hoped. So how to be comfortable with different type of people in different situations? How to remain centered? This is what yoga can teach us. So yoga can remove the problems, the suffering, even before it arises. Now, how does this work? One aspect is getting the understanding, the insight. How does our mind work? See, if you look at your mind, it's very interesting. Whenever you are sad, whenever you are upset, whenever you are angry, if you look closely, it will be because your mind got stuck with one event in the past. Have you noticed this? For example, someone said something to you that you didn't like, or something didn't work out the way you planned or hoped, something went wrong. Now this event has passed, it is in the past. But then later we still feel bad. Why? Because we keep thinking over it. It keeps coming to our awareness. You think, oh, why did this happen? It should not have happened. Why this is happening to me? So our mind is stuck with an event in the past, with a situation, and it is causing us misery. It is making us stressed or unhappy or sad. Now, if you look again at a small child, it doesn't have this tendency yet. Maybe 1-2 hours ago, one other child took the toy of this child, and it may have cried for a few minutes, but after that it's okay. It doesn't get stuck with that. It can later, few hours later, it is playing with the same child. The next day also, it doesn't wake up and remember, oh, why this happened to me yesterday? Past is gone, finished. The consciousness is free, the mind is free, child is free, and that is why it is so happy. So on one hand, we have a tendency to get stuck with events in the past, and it is making us sad or angry or upset or any of these host of so-called negative emotions. And on the other hand, we have a tendency to worry about the future. What if this will happen? What if that doesn't happen? And that is where the anxiety and the stress comes from. Will I be okay? How will this go? So then we are stuck with something in the future. Now again, as a small child, our great example of a yogi, he doesn't have that yet. A small child doesn't wake up in the morning and think, oh, what do I have to do next week, or will I be okay after 1 month? No. It's so totally in the present moment. And it is happy, it is free, it is joyful. So one thing we need to learn is how to bring the mind back to the present moment, how to become free from our worries of the future, which is anyway uncertain, and how to let go of all the anxiety or disillusion or anger or frustration connected to the past. Because for your mind to function in the best possible way, it needs to be relaxed. It doesn't perform well under tension, under stress. In the same way you would have had so many times that when you are stressed, you're trying to solve a problem, it's very difficult to come up with a good solution or to get any ideas. But the moment you relax, you think, oh, there are so many other good ways of handling this situation. I could have done like this, I should have done it like that. Just one example, but it makes it so obvious. The same way, you're trying to sleep at night, you know that you have to get up early again, you really need your rest, you really want to sleep peacefully and deeply, but there is so much going on through your head. You are stressed, you are anxious, and you're not able to sleep, even though you may be so tired. The mind doesn't settle down. And until it settles down, you cannot rest properly. And the more you think, I don't want to think about this problem or this situation, the more you end up thinking about it. Because on the level of the mind, the laws are different than on the level of the body. On the level of the body, we have to put effort. We all know this. If you want to build your muscle, you want to work out, you have to put effort. You have to go to the gym. If you want to become more flexible, improve your asana practice, you need to practice. Every day you need to stretch, you need to do your asana practice, then you will see improvement. It doesn't happen overnight. If you want to learn how to play an instrument, you will have to put effort. Every day you have to practice, and then over a period of time, yes, you will be successful. You will be able to improve. So we are so used to putting effort, but on the level of the mind, it is the opposite. On the level of the mind, effortlessness is the key. That is why whenever you stop trying to remember something, suddenly you remember. When you stop trying to relax, you relax. And this is exactly what yoga teaches us. Because what is meditation? Meditation is you are totally aware, but at the same time, you are totally relaxed. So meditation is teaching your mind how to be focused and relaxed at the same time. And this is such a valuable skill to have, because usually whenever we are focused, we get tense. We get tense, we get stressed, we get tired. Even the asana practice, when it is done in the proper way, not as an exercise but in a meditative manner, this is exactly what Patanjali teaches us in the Yoga Sutras. He says, Sthira Sukham Asanam. Asana is that posture where it is steady and it is enjoyable. There is no suffering or pain there. It's enjoyable. But then he says, Prayatna Shaitilya Ananta Samapatibhyam. While putting effort on the physical level, mentally you relax. You let go. You drop the effort, Prayatna Shaitilya. So that is dropping the effort in the mind. Physically you are putting effort, but the mind is relaxed. There is no struggle in the mind. And this is so important, because if we see in the current scenario, we are faced with all kinds of challenges. Whether it is in the work of your job, your relationships, on the level of health. Really, this pandemic has really pushed people to the limit. But we have to keep acting. You cannot say, oh, I give up. So how to act in such a situation? You can only be successful and move ahead and be peaceful if you are able to relax the mind. If you are very stressed, very tense, it will be very difficult. And you will only be able to keep up for some time. But when we are able to keep putting our efforts, do our actions, while the mind is relaxed, you will find a big shift happens. And today in the world, if there is anything that is most required, it is this knowledge. Because all over the world, people have been facing such stress, such anxiety, such difficulties and challenges, and they realize that the world around me can change anytime and is changing. So if I have to rely on anything outside of myself for my peace, my stability, and my comfort, then it is not sure if I will get it. I will be at the mercy of this ever-changing world. But when one is able to become a yogi, where you realize that there is a part of me which is never changing, when you can connect to that part of you which is ever peaceful, then no matter what happens outside of you, you can be stable, you can be steady. If you're saying, no, but that is doable when things are peaceful and okay outside, but in such a chaos, how can we do it? But if you see, this is exactly the kind of situation where Lord Krishna gave the knowledge to Arjuna. He gave the knowledge in the battlefield during the Mahabharata. When there is so much of challenges all around, when a war is about to start, of course many people have spoken about this pandemic as a war. The situation in many ways is no less. We are losing near and dear ones, the whole daily life is affected, so much of insecurity. So this is exactly the time when Lord Krishna, who was a supreme yogi, gave the knowledge of yoga to Arjuna. He said this is the time when this knowledge is needed the most. Now is the time to become a yogi. He did not tell Arjuna, okay, let us practice this later. No, after the war is done, we will go get our yoga mats and I will teach you. He said, no, Arjuna, right now this is needed. Right now you need to learn how to manage your mind, how to manage your emotions, how to remain centered irrespective of what is happening, so that you can keep acting and you can take the proper action for your benefit and for the benefit of everybody else. So yoga can give us that understanding that how the mind works, and when you realize how it works, then you can start managing it, because then you know why it is throwing a tantrum here or why it is getting stuck there. And one more very important aspect is that yoga also gives us the tools to do it. It is not just a philosophical discourse where it all sounds very nice and you just have to, keep telling yourself, everything is okay or I will feel better. No. Practical tools are given. Like, for example, we see the pranayamas, the breathing techniques. Why this is so important? Why was this part of yoga? Because if you see, the mind and the body are connected through the breath. This is very interesting. If you see, whenever your state of mind changes, when your emotions change, the rhythm in the breath also changes. The way you breathe changes. You may have noticed this. When you get really angry, what happens? The breath is very short and fast. When someone is upset, you'll find the exhalation is more prominent. When you're emotional, sad, what happens? Someone is crying, or the breathing pattern changes. And when you are very relaxed, when you are very happy, long and deep breath, where the emphasis is more on the inhalation. The inhalation is more prominent. So the way we breathe has a direct effect on our physiology and also on our state of mind, because this works both ways. When your state of mind changes, the way you breathe changes, and when you change the way you breathe, you will see that your state of mind also changes. So this is very important, because normally whenever you don't feel good, you don't like feeling like that, but we don't know how to come out of it quickly. You try different things. Okay, let me listen to some music, let me go watch TV, let me call one of my friends or go for a walk. And sometimes it helps, it takes your mind off things, but many times also it doesn't. So here we have a direct tool that can help us. And one more thing, many of the breathing techniques also are very effective in quickly raising our energy level. And how is this relevant? Because if you notice, whenever your energy level goes down, when it goes low, that is when you also say, I feel low. Have you noticed that? Whenever your energy goes down, when you feel tired, you feel drained, your state of mind also comes down. It just takes very small things to get irritated, to get stressed, to feel upset, anxious. Have you noticed this? It's interesting. You're already feeling low, your energy level is low, then a small thing happens and you get disturbed. You get annoyed, or you feel shaken. You say, I don't know how I will manage. But when your energy level is high, when you have a high energy level, when you're well rested, you will find that the same thing doesn't really bother you. It doesn't really disturb you. Have you noticed that? So yoga also gives us the tools to raise our energy level. Keep our energy or the prana in the system high. Which doesn't affect us only on the mental level, even physically. You will find your immunity is better. The overall health of your whole body improves. Because what happens whenever we are in a state of stress, what you call the fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system, one part of our nervous system becomes active that is focused on protecting, preserving us, in the sense that the blood glucose, the energy goes from the brain to all the muscles, and if you have to run, or like in the ancient times, there may be a tiger or some wild animal, or you are being attacked, so then you need to run, you need to defend yourself. But this only should happen once in a while. That is not your natural healthy state. When the system is in a state of rest, when the parasympathetic nervous system is active, that is when you heal, you recover, you are resilient. But nowadays there is so much of stress and anxiety that for many people almost continuously they're in a state of fight or flight, in a very stressful state. So that means you produce certain hormones, it affects your health, your immunity, the functioning of your body, and in turn also, of course, your state of mind. And this is also why meditation is such an essential aspect of yoga. But one of the things that meditation can give us, which is also so needed during these times, is that deep state of rest. Allow us to come back to the center, for the body to relax and slow down again, and that much needed relief from all these mental and emotional turmoil that we keep going through. Because 20 minutes of proper meditation gives our mind the same amount of rest as 4 to 6 hours of sleep. So we need this extra rest, because even if you sleep for 7-8 hours, which is plenty, many people wake up and they don't feel fresh. There is still so much of thoughts in the mind, so much of anxiety, so many things keep going, and you're not able to become free from that. And we have so many impressions nowadays. We have our social media, mobile phones, internet. It is much more than it used to be in the ancient times. So that 6 to 8 hours of sleep that was sufficient before, many times now is not. So what I would like to do now is I would like to give you all an experience also, because we have just spoken about some of the theory part and the idea behind it, but unless we have some of these tools and techniques and we have a chance to experience, what is the point? What good will it do us? So what I would like to do is, first I will teach you a simple breathing technique that is very effective to calm down the mind. So this is an excellent technique to practice whenever you are anxious, or when you're very stressed, or when your mind is too active. It is also very effective in relaxing our nervous system. It has a soothing effect on the nervous system. It calms the nervous system. And in that way also it is very beneficial for anybody who has conditions, for example, like high blood pressure or regular headaches, migraines, insomnia. If your sleep is not good, you can do this also right before you sleep. When you lie in the bed, when you're about to go and sleep, you can practice this. It's very helpful. And it is safe to practice. You can do it few times a day. And it is called Brahmari Pranayama. Some of you may have learned or heard of this already. Brahmar in Sanskrit is the word for the honeybee, Madhumaki. So in this pranayama, in this breathing technique, we make the sound of the humming bee, the bumblebee, this honeybee. It's a humming sound. So we make the humming sound, and this has a very soothing effect on our system. And we will do it with the eyes closed, and also we will add one more element to it, where we take our index fingers and we place it on the lid of the ear. There is a small flap here, a small cartilage. If you press it, it closes the ear. Yeah. So that small flap which is there, if you press it, your ear closes. So don't stick your finger inside the ear. Just we press it on that, we place it on the cartilage, and then very gently you can press it where you close it and again you open it. You close it and open it. It doesn't have to be super fast. You can do it gently, opening and closing, while making this humming sound at the same time. I'll demonstrate it once. Like this. Now, when we do this while taking the fingers in and out, inside your head it will give a vibration. It will sound like wow, 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 like this. It has a very soothing effect on our whole system, on the body and mind. So what I would like to do is 5 times we will take a deep normal breath in through the nose, and then breathing out through the nose, we make this humming sound while taking the closing and opening the ears. So 5 times we do this, a long deep breath in, and then slowly like this we breathe out. We will do this with our eyes closed, And after we complete 5 times of Brahmari Pranayama, you may relax your hands. You can keep them on your knees or in your lap, just relaxing with the palms facing up, keeping the eyes closed. And then I will guide you through a short meditation. Just an exercise where we can really relax and let go. So here I will just point to one thing, that in meditation we don't need to focus, you don't need to concentrate, you don't have to visualize anything. Meditation is the art of letting go. So what we will do is we'll keep our eyes closed, and you can just listen to the instructions in a very gentle manner and just follow it as much as you can. You don't have to open your eyes in between to check what you need to do, and you don't have to try and have no thoughts or try and focus on something. We just follow the instructions and see what happens. Yeah, shall we do that? So you can sit comfortably with your spine erect if possible, keeping the back straight, and then let's place our index fingers on the lids of the ears and let us close our eyes. First we will take a normal transitional breath in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Now 5 times we will do the Brahmari Pranayama, making the humming sound while taking the fingers in and out, closing and opening the ears. Take a normal deep breath in. One last time. And then keeping your eyes closed, you may relax your hands. You may keep them on your knees or in your lap with the palms facing up. And for a moment, observe the sensations in the body. You may feel some of the vibrations in your head, in the mind, in the whole body. Maybe some tingling sensations in the hands or in the arms. Whatever sensations may be there, it is fine. Just become aware of it. Once more, breathe in and breathe out, and relax the whole body. Relax your neck and your shoulders. Relax your arms and your hands. Relax your neck. And your face. You may keep a gentle smile on your face. Now for the next few moments, keep your body totally still. immobile, like a stone or a statue. Even if you feel like moving some part of the body, resist. Just bear with it for some time. The only thing that is moving is the breath, which is moving in and out of the body on its own, effortlessly. And notice how when the body is still, the mind also starts to settle down on its own. Whatever thoughts may be coming up in the mind, do not resist. Whether good thoughts or bad thoughts, just let them come and go on their own. They leave you untouched. You are but the silent witness, unaffected by the thoughts. You are a witness to your body. You are a witness to your mind. You are even a witness to your emotions. Whatever feelings may be coming up, just let them come and go on their own. There is a part of you that has remained the same throughout your life, that is untouched, unaffected, and unchanged. Relax there. Once more, breathe in and breathe out. Namo Brahmari Namo Astvagnaye Namah Prithivye Nama Oshadibhyah Namo Vache Devyah Nama Oshadibhyah Namo Vache Devyah Namo Vache Devyah Namo Oshadibhyah Namo Oshadibhyah Namo Vache Devyah Namo Vache Devyah Namo Oshadibhyah Namo Vache Devyah 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 Namo Va Vachaspataye Namo Vishnave Bruhate Karomi Om Shanno Astu Dvipade Shanchatushpade Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Once more, breathe in and slowly breathe out. Become aware of your body and the surroundings. Once more, take a deep breath in and breathe out. Slowly you may move your fingers a little. And then very slowly and gradually, taking your own time, whenever you feel complete, at your own pace, you may open your eyes again. How was it? Was good? Do you notice that just in a few minutes your mind is more peaceful, more calm? Of course, this was just a glimpse, an initial experience, but the whole system relaxes. Some of you may feel more fresh, you feel more energized, less thoughts in the mind, more calm, more settled, more focused. So with this, I would like to conclude our interaction today, and again I would like to implore everyone to explore this ancient and beautiful science that has so much to offer. Each one of us should not be deprived of the wisdom that this ancient knowledge of yoga, Ayurveda, meditation has to offer us. And with the International Day of Yoga coming up, what better time to go deeper into this practice, to spread the awareness of the benefits of yoga as such a relevant science. Though it is ancient, it has become all the more relevant in our modern times. And I hope the session was beneficial. I hope you all had a chance to learn something, or I've given you something to think about, to ponder over, or to explore. And like I said, this journey will continue every week from our side, from the Art of Living side. We will be sharing some more knowledge and techniques with you on this journey of hope and health. And once more, I would like to congratulate and express my heartfelt thanks to the Ministry of Ayush and of course the Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga for all the wonderful efforts and work they are doing to spread this knowledge, to create more awareness of the benefits of yoga, and to inspire more and more people to benefit from this ancient treasure. May you all remain safe. May your near and dear ones be safe and healthy. My very best wishes and blessings to each one of you. And I look forward to celebrating the International Day of Yoga with everyone, with all of you. Namaste.
Respected Sri P.N. Ranjit Kumar, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Swami Punya Chaitanya Ji, International Faculty, Art of Living, Bengaluru. Respected Dr. Iswar V. Basavareddy, Director, Morarji Desai Institute of Yoga. All social media friends who have joined us from India and abroad for Be With Yoga, Be At Home series today on the topic Finding Inner Strength Amidst Outer Crisis. At the outset, I would like to place my deepest gratitude to respected Sri P.N. Ranjit Kumar, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, for his continuous guidance, support and cooperation to organize IDY 2021 Be With Yoga, Be At Home series through leading yoga institutions. I am extremely thankful to Swami Punya Chaitanya Ji, International Faculty, Art of Living, Bengaluru, for his wonderful lecture on finding inner strength amidst outer crisis. I extend my thanks to Dr. Iswar V. Basavareddy, Director, Morarji Desai Institute of Yoga, for sparing his valuable time with us. I am heartily thankful to Art of Living, Bengaluru, the Yoga Institute, Mumbai, Kevaladham Institute, Lonavala, Pune, Om Arham Social Welfare Foundation, MP, Krishnacharya Yoga Mandiram, Chennai, to be part of IDY Be With Yoga, Be At Home series. I also express my deep gratitude to media persons and all my dear friends who have joined us from India and abroad. Thank you.